I'm Sonia Kasparian, and this is the Urchin Studio. Come on in! Okay, so this is where I work with clients. This is my front room, and it's where I do all my sewing and all my draping. This is the form I do all my draping on, unless I'm draping on my clients. And what I do is bespoke couture. So I actually work three-dimensionally. I don't do no pattern work because nothing is replicated. Everything is one of a kind. And this was a piece done for the Northwest Dance Project. It was white, and I saw it at the fabric store at the Jobbers, and it was this crazy stuff.
It looks like metal.
Now it does because of the dye. But when it was white, it kind of looks like something you would see inside your walls. Or, you know, and I asked the guy, and he thought maybe it was to line curtains with. He didn't really know.
Yeah.
And I just took a guess that if I cut it apart, it wouldn't shred everywhere, and that I could dye it. And
look how stunning it came out.
these are all fabrics for the upcoming Fade to Light show, which I'm working on, which is going to be happening in the end of August. This is an example. This is one of the first pieces I've done for this show. And so it's very, body conscious, and this beautiful sequin fabric that almost looks like a leather when you look at it. It's got a really beautiful matte finish.
It's a very tiny sequins.
Very tiny sequins, and it's got these little cap
Is that
sleeves
feathers?
built in. It looks like feathers, but it's a sheared organza. So this piece isn't completely done yet, and a long tiered bustle. So this is the same fabric that's in the caplets, but you just don't see it. And this also is a large ball skirt that's going to be in that show as well. I don't even know if you can see it. It's just open in the front, and then it's lined with chiffon. These are just cage dresses that I have hanging up that were put into a lingerie show. I was at the fabric store and I found all these beautiful pewter colored trims and wanted to make something just out of the trims. So I had some Irish boning that a bride gave me. So I used that in the panniers, and then I ended up doing what I was calling a Marie Antoinette cage dress. Spiral boning that you would use in corsetry that goes in some of the curved pieces. There's a rigid metal boning that's covered with plastic that goes in other directions, and then there's your traditional plastic boning, which goes in other directions depending on what kind of rigidity I want to give to it. You can bend it into any configuration you want. That's why it's this flat spiral. It's amazing. It's rigid, but then it also flexes to the sides.
Oh, wait. This is the actual boning?
That's the boning.
Oh.
These right here, these strips are all actually just fabric. So I had to, first of all, cut all the strips, and then I had to shred the edges back by 3/8 of an inch. And then I had to sew the edges so they wouldn't fray. And then I was able to sandwich the boning between the fabrics, and then I was able to make it into the dress. So quite a few hours. These are random things. So this was part of the Italian exhibit that happened in, now I don't know what, 2 years ago now, at the Portland Art Museum. This fabric down here is all ombre dyed. So I started layer by layer, and I continued to dye darker and darker down. And then this was for another show. This was for Fashion Next, I believe, several years ago.
So which other shows do you do fashion?
No, I don't do shows regularly at all, actually. Simply because I don't do ranges. And usually when people do shows, it's to promote their range.
Right.
And since I don't do that, for me, it's a lot of work and a lot of expense and a lot of time just to get my name out there.
Right.
This is a tablecloth.
That's what I was.
This is the old tablecloth.
That's
yeah.
what I thought.
Yeah. I mean, this is just,
Who knew you could make a tablecloth that beautiful?
Oh my God, they're so stunning.
So this one is still in work.
Oh yeah, this is
she hasn't
just,
worn it yet.
No, this is just the beginning of it.
Okay.
This is nowhere near a finished dress. This is like the really initial beginning stages of it. She was looking everywhere for a corset, and we ended up using one of my corsets, and I retrofitted the corset and refit it to her, and
She wanted the corset underneath and then the dress built.
yeah, I actually built it into it. I mean, it looks like Frankenstein on the inside, but so I fit her in the corset, and then she came in, and then I draped the under fabric, which is the nude liner, over her. And then I draped the lace over her, and now when she comes in this next time, all of it will be put together, including it's going to get, I'll show you.
Is she doing a train or a...
So she's going to be getting an English net tiered train like this one.
Wow.
And this is what's going to happen in the back of her dress, is she's going to have a bustle.
Okay.
Like this, where all of the edge work has been sewn.
So she knew she wanted 1920s look.
Yeah. We decided to be a bit more body conscious than a traditional 20s, which is a drop waist.
Right, the more flat.
So it's really more of a 30s siren kind of a
that's
fit.
what I envisioned for a 20s.
That's really a 20s, yeah. I had a whole series of tablecloths and I just held them up in front of her and I'm like, imagine this one. Oh, what do you think? Look at how the rosettes lay down. Or imagine this one. This is so beautiful over your hips. Or,
Yeah.
you know, and we narrowed it down to that particular tablecloth.
This.
This is the bridal room. So if a girl wants to start with a vintage dress, I have a whole collection of vintage dresses, and they're all broken down by like slip dresses and columns and fit and flare, and gets all the way into something I call Tammy Wynette. They're only for the fabric, really. From there, you can do anything with them. They can be completely cut apart, dyed, painted, manipulated in any way. Exactly. Really what I'm doing mostly is draping from scratch with new material and either working with an older fabric, you know, like handwork like this or a tablecloth and utilizing that for my fabric. Mm-hmm. And I just drape with it and use it like regular bolt fabric, yardage fabric, or, you know, or I work with a girl's mom's or grandmother's heirloom dress.
Dyed all of the different colors?
Yeah, so each one's dyed, and it's a mix of this more coarse netting and then layers of tulle. And it's all the colors of, you know, the sun when it comes through a thundercloud after the rain. So it's the thundercloud dress.
Beautiful.